I am speaking to you now because the clock that once felt distant has stepped into your room and is breathing on your neck, because mercy has moved ahead of justice to touch your shoulder, because I have watched you stare at the ceiling at night and whisper questions into a silence that was never empty. Archangel Michael has stood watch at your threshold, counting the seconds that soften your resistance, and he has seen your future bloom like a field of wheat and break like a storm on the same horizon. He told me he saw you standing at a doorway with trembling hands, and he could not stop the tears because he knew what waited on the other side and he knew what would happen if you turned away. He was not permitted to speak until this moment, because timing is a key and I do not give keys before the lock appears, but now the lock is here. Now the sound you hear is the tumblers aligning with your obedience. You have 16 seconds left, not to frighten you, but to focus you, to gather your scattered will into one bright arrow that flies straight through all confusion and lands in the center of your assignment. I have held back many revelations until your heart could carry them without shattering, the way a cup must be fired in the kiln before it can hold water without dissolving. I saw you as clay, and I did not rush the fire, for love that rushes destroys the very thing it longs to bless. Michael has watched your formation with the patience of an ancient mountain, and when he saw the coming day that I am showing you now, the weight of its goodness broke him into tears. He saw tables set with your name engraved on their edges, rooms full of conversations that will birth your next decade, doors that open with a sigh at the sound of your simple yes. He also saw the shadow trying to convince you that the door is a wall, that the table is a mirage, that your name is a mistake carved by a trembling hand. He was not allowed to speak then, but he is allowed now, and his voice rides on mine like thunder wrapped in a lullaby. You have asked me for confirmation, and I am giving it to you in a language older than your fears, peace that stands upright in your chest like a pillar. Warmth on the back of your neck as if sunlight moved indoors, a sudden clarity that sorts your thoughts like a river sorts stones. When you feel this, understand, that is not coincidence, that is me aligning the compass of your inner world with my magnetic north. I have not forgotten you, I have positioned you. I have not withheld, I have guarded timing. The ache that told you you were behind was a liar dressed as urgency. The truth is that you are right on schedule for the unveiling I promised in the quiet hours when you thought I wasn't listening. I heard every whisper, I numbered every tear. I stored each one in the library of future songs you will sing when your mouth remembers how faithfully I wrote the melody. 16 seconds left means this, not that everything ends, but that your hesitation ends. The countdown is not toward catastrophe, it is toward clarity. When you cross this threshold, the fog will not follow you, it will fold in on itself and die. You have carried stories that did not belong to you, narratives sown by disappointed tongues, and you believed them because they were loud. I am gentler than the voices that shamed you, but I am stronger, and I have stepped closer now, and with a single breath I am blowing away the dust that tried to bury your courage. Michael saw the page of your life turn and your true name printed at the top of the new chapter. He wept because he knows the difference between surviving and living. And he saw you exchange one for the other. There is a door you must open today. Do not look for a dramatic sign. The door is ordinary wood, an email you've delayed, a call you've avoided, a small act of obedience that feels too simple to matter. Holiness is often hidden inside the simple, the way seeds hide forests inside a husk. Open what I am pointing to. Step where I have cleared the path. Do not look left to count the witnesses or right to compare footprints. I am your witness and your way. Your feet were shaped for this road with an accuracy that would astonish you if you could see what I see. I do not waste journeys. I do not rehearse pain for entertainment. I use everything. And in my hands everything becomes bread. You asked me about the people who left and why the ache still wakes like a child in the night asking for water. I have answers, but I also have healing, and healing is the greater answer. There were goodbyes that were not punishments, they were releases signed in heaven long before your hands let go on earth. I could not let everyone follow you into the new garden because some did not love the seed, they only loved the shade. You felt abandoned. But listen closely, I was not reducing you, I was pruning you. The branch screams when the gardener cuts, but it sings when the fruit comes. Your season of fruit is arriving like morning light that cannot be negotiated with. And the tree that is your life is about to bend under the weight of answered prayer. Michael has stood at the edge of the field where you sowed grief and watered it with hope anyway. He saw the harvest begin to rise, and that is why he cried, not out of fear, but out of relief, because love hates to see you doubt what love has promised. He was not permitted to reveal the exact shape of what is coming, but I can tell you this. It will look like restoration wearing your favorite color, like a promise showing up early and asking if you still want it, like a gentle knock that doesn't stop until you smile. You will know it is mine because it will not demand that you betray your peace to keep it. You will not need to shrink to fit it or pretend to deserve it, you will simply breathe and recognize home. You have feared traps, and rightly so, the world is full of bright cages. But wisdom has been growing in you like a lion in sleep, and when it opens its eyes it will not be fooled by glitter. I am sharpening your discernment until it can cut through flattery like a blade through thread. You will hear many invitations. You will say yes to the few that carry my scent. The ones that belong to you will not bruise your spirit, they will expand it. The ones that are not yours will clatter to the ground when you speak your no, and you will walk on without regret because your feet will recognize the cadence of freedom. Do not fear your no. Your no guards the house where your yes lives. 16 seconds left means your excuses have run out of places to hide. They will attempt one last performance. They will put on the costumes of prudence and humility. They will borrow the voices of people who once loved their own limitations and gifted them to you. Smile kindly at them and step through anyway. Prudence without faith is just fear with good manners. Humility without obedience is just delay in a choir robe. You know my voice, it has been your sunrise in too many midnights to be mistaken now. Follow it. I am not leading you to a cliff, I am leading you across a threshold that will remember your footprints forever. You have asked if you are chosen, and the answer is older than your bones, yes. Chosen does not mean favored above love, it means fashioned for a task that will bless many. Your life is a bridge, and people will cross from despair to hope on the wood of your story. You do not need to be perfect to be sturdy, you need to be anchored, and I am the anchor that does not rust. The winds that tried to name you have lost their charter, the storm that introduced itself as your landlord is being evicted. Hear the paper tear, that is the lease of fear ending. Hear the click, that is the lock of shame opening. The door swings, and it does not creak, because I have oiled the hinges with kindness. Michael told me about the moment you nearly quit, and how you kept a small candle burning anyway, how you cupped your hand around it and walked through that long corridor of doubt. He said your future answered that candle with a sky full of lanterns, and he could not stop crying because he knew how much you needed that sky. You will see that sky. It is not a metaphor, it is a night coming soon where everything you worried you imagined will stand in front of you as solid as bread. People will call it luck, you will call it by my name because you have learned to recognize the architecture of grace. It looks like coincidence to strangers, but to the builder it looks like the blueprint fulfilled. You wonder if you have missed your moment. Listen to me, moments do not own you, you own them when you are with me. I redeem time not by turning clocks backwards but by compounding yield. What you thought was wasted will return with interest that laughs at arithmetic. Your slow years will sponsor your swift ones. The opportunities that left will find they still have your address written in invisible ink on their envelopes, and they will knock again. I will not shame you for the first no, I will teach you the new yes. Your learning curve is not a cliff, it is a staircase, and I am holding the rail, and we are climbing. 16 seconds left is the sound of the last wall in your heart asking for permission to fall. Give it. Let it. The rubble will seem messy at first, but flowers grow in broken places, roots love the loosened earth. You have guarded yourself with strategies that worked in deserts but do not belong in gardens. Put down the armor that made you heavy. Keep the wisdom, lose the weight. Keep the lesson, release the label. Your future cannot breathe under old bandages. I am gentle with the peeling, I will not rip what needs soaking. But I will not let you wrap yourself in yesterday when I have tailored a robe called today that fits your shoulders like destiny. There is a letter with your name that heaven has been rereading for years because the words still make the angels smile. It says you will be a harbor for the tired, a table for the hungry, a compass for the lost, a lighthouse that forgets how to quit shining. It says you will learn generosity so deeply that scarcity will stop recognizing your door. It says your laughter will return from its long journey and sit at your own kitchen table and ask for tea, and you will pour it without shaking. It says you will forgive in ways that set not only others free but your own tongue from the prison of rehearsed pain. It says you will live. Michael saw this and cried because he knows how cruel the lie has been that tells you you are too late, too broken, too complicated to be useful. He saw you as you are to me, bright with purpose, stubborn with hope, precise with compassion. He saw you walk into rooms and change the temperature without raising your voice. He saw you carry keys you once thought belonged only to others, and he saw the lock surrender to your touch. He was not allowed to tell you, but I was always telling you in 100 quiet ways, the unexplainable survival, the right word at the wrong time that still healed something, the stranger's kindness that arrived like a breadcrumb trail through your dark. Here, now, breathe with me. Inhale the certainty that you are loved beyond usefulness. Exhale the bargain you tried to make, doing more to be more. You have always been mine, not on probation, not by accident. Not on lease with an option to buy. I paid in full with a love that does not keep receipts to return you. I do not perform background checks on those I adopt. Your future is not a promotion, it is a garden you already own. We are simply walking you through the gate that fear convinced you was locked. Put your hand on it. Feel the warmth. It opens. When the door swings, step. Do not draft a speech for your doubts, they do not deserve a hearing. Do not apologize to the old version of yourself for leaving, thank them for surviving and tell them you found the path they were searching for. Your steps will be small and sure at first, then longer and joyful, then light with the stride of someone who remembers who they are. You will make choices that seem ordinary but carry resurrection inside them. You will align your hours with what makes your spirit sit up and smile. You will treat your body as a friend, not an inconvenience. You will treat your mind as a garden, not a battlefield. You will treat your heart as a well, not a warehouse. You have worried about provision. I am provision. You have worried about favor. I am favor. You have worried about timing. I am time's author and I say now. The doors that open will not require manipulation. Your integrity will be the invitation. There will be moments when your old fear tries on new clothes and calls itself wisdom. Ask me, and I will confirm the path with that deep river peace you cannot manufacture. You will not miss it. I am too good at shepherding to lose a lamb in plains so well known to me. Michael stands behind you now, not as a shadow but as a sentinel, and his tears have become a sign that the season has turned. He is not weeping for what might have been, he is rejoicing for what is about to be. He says, the words he is finally permitted to speak, that your future is brighter than the story you've been renting from fear. He says your name like a blessing, and when he does, the air around you seems to thicken with promise, because heaven loves to echo what I affirm. You will feel this in moments today when the light lands on your table in a familiar way, when a line in a song reaches out and squeezes your hand. When a small coincidence leans close and whispers my nearness. 16 seconds left was never a threat, it was a bell. It has rung. Consider this your first step after the chime. Walk into the conversation you were avoiding and bring grace like water. Send the message that aligns with your spirit and let the outcome sit in my hands. Pick up the small assignment with a big heart and watch it multiply. Bless those who did not understand you, their misunderstanding was a fence, and fences can become trellises when love grows. Plant kindness where you were wounded, harvest joy where you were cautious. I have seen your future, and I have not stopped smiling. I could not show you all of it at once because joy that arrives too quickly can stun the heart into disbelief. So I am giving it to you like morning, one bright layer at a time, until noon stands over your life and you realize you are standing under a sky that is yours. When the doubts return, and they will try, point them to this sentence: I am with you. When the old shame knocks, and it will try, show it this doorpost: forgiven, sealed, named. When hesitation asks for one more day, tell it the bell has rung and the garden waits and the gate is open. This is my message, written in the place where your breath meets my breath, delivered by the one who guards your thresholds and fights for your clarity. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not least. You are mine, and that name changes the weather. Step now. I am already on the other side of your obedience, setting the table, saving your seat, and smiling at the look on your face when you realize the feast is for you and always has been. That I am speaking to you now with a nearness that feels like breath on your cheek, a warmth on your chest, a steadying hand at the back of your heart. Do not look away. Do not minimize this moment because the ordinary world keeps pretending it has more authority than I do. I formed your days before you counted one, and I counted every tear when you thought no one could see your shaking. I am here, and I am not late. Archangel Michael has stood watch over you, and he came to me with a report that echoed like thunder. I saw their future. And I could not stop crying. He did not cry for your ruin, but for the weight of the glory, the suddenness of the turn, the deliverance that would look like a sunrise ripping through an old horizon. He wept because the goodness is heavier than what you have carried, and even angels are moved by what I am about to do for you. He was not permitted to reveal it, until now. If you feel the seconds compress around your chest, it is because time itself is bending toward the purpose I have written. Hear me, you are not too late. The clock belongs to me. You have believed that closed doors define your worth. You have thought, if it were meant for me, it would not be this hard. But seeds do not accuse the soil for being dark. They trust the pressure that splits them is the same pressure that introduces them to the light. You called what happened to you punishment, but I am taking the same history and calling it preparation. Every silence taught you to hear subtle guidance. Every delay trained your legs to wait without abandoning the path. Every betrayal scraped away what could be bought by flattery. I am not wasting any of it. The fragments that seemed useless are the tesserae of a mosaic I designed. Tilt your head and look again. What was jagged becomes a picture when I arrange it. Listen closely, beloved, your future does not approach you from far away. It is standing at the threshold now, asking for your agreement. The turning that comes will not be persuaded by debate, it will be unlocked by consent. Say yes with your posture before your lips find the words. How do you say yes? You stop rehearsing the language of loss as though it is the only tongue you know. You stop pre-grieving disappointments that have not arrived. You stop bargaining with storms and start sheltering in my promise. When your mind tries to build a case against hope using evidence from the past, tell it gently, we are under new management. Your nervous system has been trained to expect the worst because the worst visited often. I am retraining you to expect wholeness, and your body will learn the dialect of peace. I have set Michael at your doorway with a sword of light. Not to intimidate you, but to remind you that what I speak over you is guarded. He saw the places you would have broken if help had not arrived in invisible ways. He watched a night when a thought tried to carry you away into a valley you would not return from. A knock, a message, a sudden memory interrupted you. That interruption was me. He watched the conversation where envy targeted you with a smile and a plan. I wrote confusion over their script, and what they meant to take, I rerouted back to you with interest. He watched you blame yourself for the storms other people chose to stir. I placed a hand over your chest and said, "This one will not drown here." He cried because the rising I planned for you seemed too high for the shame you still held. And yet I did not change my mind. You have 16 seconds, hear this rightly. Not to terrify you, but to tell you the gate is open now. In these seconds, agree with me. In these seconds, lay down the smallness that pretends to be humility and is only fear wearing a polite mask. In these seconds, forgive the face that keeps standing between you and the mirror. In these seconds, put down the imaginary contract you made with pain that says, "I will keep you if you promise not to surprise me again." Break it. I am replacing vigilance that exhausts you with discernment that preserves you. You will not live on red alert anymore. Let me speak to the part of you that still flinches at kindness. You were told that love always arrives with an invoice. You were trained to earn breath. You learned to interpret silence as condemnation. I am removing that lens now. When I say I am pleased to be with you, it is not a performance review, it is a father staying through the storm until the storm learns your name is protected. When I say I delight in you, it is not because you produced a spectacle, it is because you exist in the shape I imagined and called good. When I say I forgive you, I am not erasing you, I am erasing the counterfeit names you collected in dark rooms. Shame is not an heirloom. Drop it. Do not polish what I asked you to release. There is a table I have set where you thought only crumbs were available. Your place does not depend on applause given by those who misread you. I am restoring the alignment of your assignments. Some rooms you kept pushing open will feel heavy now because I am withdrawing permission from what was only meant to be a hallway. Do not grieve the doors that resist you, thank them for their honesty. New doors, quiet and seemingly small, will yield to a single touch, not because you are lesser, but because you are wiser. This is how you will know it is me. What opens will not require you to violate your own soul to keep it. What is given will not demand that you shrink into someone unrecognizable to hold it. There will be stretch, yes, but not self-betrayal. You have asked me about money in the midnight hours, counting costs with trembling fingers, imagining futures with no cushion. Hear me, I am not scolding you for wanting stability. I designed you to steward, not to scavenge. I am teaching you to separate provision from panic. Panic buys shadows at retail and calls them security. Provision arrives with instruction. You will notice ideas returning that you dismissed as too gentle to carry weight. Pick them up. You will find a name for your work that feels both ancient and newly minted. Receive it. You will meet a person whose questions unlock your next decision. Answer honestly and do not oversell. Strategy will come like a wind after a long drought. And with it, a clear no to patterns that keep burning through what you gather. This time, you will not harvest into broken baskets. To the one who wonders if love can find them without a map, I have not mislaid your heart. I will not deliver you to a performance. I am removing agreements with loneliness that tried to occupy the center seat. You will not bend yourself out of shape to fit into affection that cannot hold the truth. The one who sees you will not require the erasure of the parts one cherish. Release the timelines you wrote while you were scared. New timing is not punishment. It is protection, convergence, and kindness arranged in steps you can walk without bleeding. Archangel Michael is speaking now because I have unsealed his mouth in your favor. He says, I saw your future. You forgive more quickly than you ever imagined. You choose boundaries without rage. You bless without bargaining. You create without copying your wounds, and you rest without guilt. You carry light that does not glare, it warms. You speak softly and hell remembers your name and trembles. You stop auditioning for rooms beneath your calling. You release altars built to hurry. You laugh, fully, and the sound announces to heaven and earth that captivity has lost its lease. He says, I saw a day when you realize you survived what once seemed fatal, and you stop narrating your life by the injuries you endured. You begin to testify by the healing you host. He says, I saw the people assigned to you, some younger, some older, gathering courage because of the way you walk now. Let me answer the fear that asks, what if I fail again? Then fail forward into me. I am not counting stumbles as disqualifications. I am counting returns as worship. Think of how a child learns to run. Falling is not scandal, it is vocabulary. Your failures have been loud, let your endurance be louder. I am giving you a tenderness that does not cancel your wisdom and a strength that does not require hardness to prove itself. I am giving you a voice that does not need shouting to move mountains. When accusation comes, and it will, do not draft a press release. Stand still. Let me answer. Sometimes my answer will be silence that starves a lie. Sometimes my answer will be a door no enemy can close. Sometimes my answer will be a promotion hidden inside a pruning. I am also revisiting your home. Not the walls, but the atmosphere. Rooms remember songs. Corners carry echoes. You will open a window and feel something stale leave without arguing. You will put your hand on a chair and feel peace bloom like a slow fire. You will move one object, throw away another, and realize you made space for a new conversation. Practice gratitude there, aloud, even if it feels awkward at first. Gratitude is not denial, it is agreement with my reality. It turns your home into a womb for what I am birthing. To the part of you that thinks you must pay penance forever for the naivete of yesterday, mercy is not a lease you renew monthly, mercy is a deed in your name. I purchased the plot where your shame used to camp. Build a garden there. Plant memories on purpose. Write letters you will read on days when the weather lies about who you are. Prepare traditions that remind your body that goodness repeats itself. Rituals are not chains when they keep you facing the sunrise. I am also touching the work of your hands. Hidden craft, hidden study, hidden faithfulness, none of it was invisible to me. You thought, does any of this matter? Will anyone ever benefit? You will be astonished by how quickly seeds sprout when the season turns. Expect invitations that look modest but carry lineage. Expect opportunities that ask for the exact wisdom your scars taught you. Expect resistance from old cycles, recognize them by their urgency and their flattery. Smile, bless, and keep walking. You are not required to explain your growth to people committed to misunderstanding it. Hear me about time one more way. The pressure you feel is not a sword against your throat, it is a midwife saying, now. You do not need a flawless plan to begin. Begin with honesty. Begin with one faithful action repeated. Begin with a phone call that closes a loop. Begin with an apology that frees two hearts. Begin with a schedule that honors your energy the way I honor your soul. Begin with sleep that tells your body it is safe to heal. You will not miss your appointment by resting in me. Rest is not retreat, it is recalibration. Michael stands by the thresholds of your coming days, but he is not the hero of this story. He is a sign that I keep my word and that I send help in forms you do not expect. You will notice new coincidences, and you will call them what they are: choreography. You will notice that problems arrive preloaded with exit doors you can now see. You will notice that when you bless those who misunderstand you, your tongue feels lighter and your mind clears. You will notice that you become allergic to bitterness, not because you are pretending, but because your system recognizes it as poison. There is one more thing I must say: release the need to be dramatic to believe you are significant. You have used crisis to permission yourself to be bold. I am giving you a brand new license stamped with my name. You may be bold in peace. You may be radiant in quiet. You may be certain without spectacle. Your life will become a contradiction that confuses cynicism: soft and unstoppable, kind and unshakable, humble and undeniable. This is not wishful thinking, this is my design maturing. Now, breathe. Those 16 seconds were never a countdown to despair. They were a doorway into agreement. If you have said yes in your heart, if you have loosened your grip on fear, if you have allowed me to call you by the name I prefer, then you have already crossed the threshold. The future that made Michael cry with holy joy has begun to touch you. The plot does not thicken with threat, it expands with grace. You will notice people returning to apologize, not all, but enough to remind you that seeds sown in tears know their way home. You will bless and release, and you will bless and receive. You will sleep, and I will instruct your heart in dreams that do not torment but arrange. You will wake, and ordinary light will look like a miracle because it is. Remember this when the wind rises tomorrow: nothing I promised you is in the hands of those who oppose you. It is in mine, and mine are steady. Do not measure my power by their mood. Do not measure your worth by their attention. Do not measure your future by your fatigue today. Measure by my nearness. Measure by the way your spirit calms when you stop arguing with love. Measure by the small courage that keeps showing up even when loud fear has an entourage. I will finish what I start. I will keep what I purchase. I will heal what I touch. I will guide where I speak. I will defend what I bless. I will multiply what you give with a free heart. I will return what was stolen with interest you could not calculate. I will give you songs that feel like maps, and friends who feel like harbor, and work that feels like prayer. You will not be late for your own life. You will not be replaced in the story I wrote for you. You will not confuse delay with denial again. You will hold what I place, and you will not need both hands to keep clutching fear. Go forward now, slowly if you must, but go forward. Let your steps be small and sacred. Let your words be truthful and few. Let your eyes be bright with mercy. Let your hands be clean from retaliation. Let your mind be clear because you have chosen simplicity over spectacle. And when you are tempted to narrate doom because doom once made you feel prepared, choose a different narrator. Choose me. I am the one who saw your future first, and my tears were joy. I am the one who forbade disclosure until the hour. And this is the hour. I am the one who calls you beloved in a voice that empties counterfeit names from every room inside you. Nothing can silence what I have declared. Walk in it that I am speaking to you now because your name has been called in heaven, because your breath matters, because I placed you here with timing as precise as a heartbeat and as delicate as dawn light arriving on a closed window. I have watched you carry what felt uncarryable. I have seen you hold your own breaking pieces and still offer kindness to others, and I have numbered these moments as treasure. Archangel Michael has stood in the doorways you could not see, lifting a sword that glows where your eyes only found ordinary shadows. He saw the film of your coming days and he wept, not from fear, not from doom, but from an ache so holy that it looked like rain after a long drought. He was not permitted to tell you until now because timing is a key that opens locks in order, and because revelation too early can crush a sprout that is meant to be a tree. But the seal is removed. The hour is opened. You have felt it as a pressure in your chest and a heat in your palms and a trembling in your choices. I am here. Hear me, you said in a whisper, do you still choose me? And then you packed the question away behind busyness and noise. I did not answer with thunder because you would have mistaken volume for love. I answered with breath. With the soft insistence of mornings arriving no matter how late you fell asleep. Yes, I choose you. I choose you in the room where you pretend to be strong. I choose you in the hallway where you hesitate before knocking. I choose you when the message comes and you think, it must be for someone else more worthy, more clean, more ready. I choose you exactly as you are, because choosing changes you into what you could not make yourself by force. Michael saw a future that bends toward light, but he also saw the corners where you would try to return to smallness. He cried because there is a cost to outgrowing the cage that once felt like a friend. He cried for the version of you that will have to say no more, and lose the approval of those who liked you silent. He cried for the rooms you will leave, the habits you will set down, the secret vows you made in pain that must now be broken in peace. He cried because the goodness in front of you is not a sugary escape, it is a holy strength that invites you to stand upright and walk forward without dragging chains you learned to decorate like jewelry. He cried, and I counted his tears as a witness that heaven understands the ache of transformation. You have 16 seconds left on the countdown you felt in your spirit, not because disaster is hunting you, but because decision is. In these 16 seconds, in the quiet space between breath and breath, you will choose whether to keep rehearsing the old lines you memorized to survive. or to speak a new sentence that sounds like truth. This is not a threat, it is a door. Doors do not punish. Doors reveal paths. Time is not your enemy, time is the river I use to carry you to the exact bank where your feet belong. When you hear the number echoing inside you, 16, 15, 14, do not panic. Panic will tell you to jump or freeze. My voice invites you to step. One step. One yes. One release. This is how mountains move. You think that to be faithful is to never change lanes, to keep tracing the same circle because at least you know the landmarks. But circles can be prisons when I have marked a road. The road in front of you is not lined with applause. It is lined with quiet confirmations, a text that arrives at the exact moment of doubt. A stranger sentence that repeats the same words you heard in prayer, a closed door that does not open no matter how politely you knock because the room beyond it is too small for the person you are becoming. Do not mistake resistance for rejection. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not confuse the end of a season with the end of your favor. Favor is not a fragile mood in heaven. Favor is a decision I made before your first cry. There is someone you forgave with your mouth but not with your memory. You did not fail, you healed as far as your strength allowed. Now I am sending help to finish what you began. Michael has been waiting at the threshold of that old wound, holding back the scavengers that would feast on pain. And now he will guide you through a corridor where light returns without permission. When the memory rises up, do not taste it again like stale bread. Hand it to me. Forgiveness is not agreement with what happened. Forgiveness is the refusal to let your future be written by the one who hurt you. Give me the pen. Watch me restore what was stolen in ways that honor the lesson without repeating the suffering. You asked for a sign, and then you asked not to need signs because you wanted your faith to be clean and unassisted. I love your sincerity, but I am not offended by your humanity. I planted signs the way a parent leaves lamps on in a house so that a child never hits a knee on the edge of a table. Here is one. The next time you see the number that has followed you for months, stop and breathe. Do not make a wish, make a decision. Here is another. A name will come to you in the shower or in the stairwell or while you are washing dishes. When it arrives, bless that person and then bless yourself. If the name is yours, say it out loud and add these words: I release you from being who you had to be when you didn't feel safe. This is not self-indulgence. It is obedience. You are worried about provision. You built careful budgets inside your imagination as if control could protect you from surprise. But control is a fragile idol. It demands all your attention and gives nothing back when real life arrives. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am asking you to trust me enough to take the next faithful action even when you cannot see the 10th. Provision will not always look like a sudden flood. Sometimes it looks like a steady stream arriving precisely when the soil is thirsty. Expect both. Expect a door you never knew existed to open. Expect a tiny hinge to swing a big gate. Expect a person you dismissed as unimportant to carry a key you need. Expect your own hands to become capable of work you did not know you could do. Expect peace to replace frantic calculation. Peace is not laziness, peace is power without panic. Michael was not allowed to tell you until now that a conversation you feared is already blessed. You imagined it would become a battlefield. It will become a bridge. Do not rehearse arguments. Rehearse kindness. Rehearse clarity. When you speak, do not stack apologies like bricks to build a wall around your truth. Apologies have their place, they are beautiful when they repair harm. But you do not need to apologize for existing, for wanting, for saying yes to what I am doing. Say what is true with a soft tone and a steady spine. If you are met with storm, do not mirror thunder. Be the weather after rain. There is a habit that pretends to comfort you at midnight and then leaves you emptier at 2 a.m. You call it not a big deal, and you defend it because it feels like the only mercy that shows up when the world goes quiet. Daughter, son, beloved, let me be your mercy. I will not shame you. Shame is a counterfeit teacher, it only knows how to punish. I will empower you. Power will feel like an open window in a stuffy room. You will breathe differently. You will sleep without bargaining with your conscience. Michael stands by that window now, and when you decide, he will throw it open and the room will taste like morning. You have believed that greatness belongs to others because they move loudly. I did not design you to be an echo of noise. I designed you to be a clear note in a chorus that heals rooms. Your greatness is not the size of your spotlight, it is the depth of your obedience. Do not despise the small tasks. Small tasks are holy when they are assignments, not avoidance. Today, set your hand to one assignment you have delayed. Finish it. Offer it to me. In finishing, you will learn that completion is a muscle you can build. This muscle will carry you into larger work without snapping under weight. You have prayed for love that does not make you shrink. I heard you. Love that comes from me will require your wholeness, not your disguise. Remove the costume of easy. The right people will not demand your silence to feel tall. They will celebrate your voice the way a gardener delights when a flower finally opens. Trust me with timing. Do not chase those who cannot hold what you carry. Do not punish those who tried to love you with the tools they had but could not meet you in your fullness. Bless them, release them, and remain open. I am not teasing you with connection. I am building a table where you will no longer have to choose between truth and belonging. The enemy of your soul cannot steal the future I have written, but he can distract you from meeting it on time. Distraction will often wear the costume of urgency. Learn to ask, is this important or just loud? Loud will yank at your sleeve every hour. Important will wait with dignity and shine with a quiet rightness when you turn toward it. Today, choose one important thing. Give it your attention like a gift. Do not multitask your destiny. Depth beats speed in the kingdom I am building inside you. You fear that if you are honest, people will leave. Some will. Loss is not always punishment, sometimes it is pruning. Pruning is not violence, it is care for the fruit you haven't seen yet. When a branch is cut back, the tree looks smaller for a time. But sap begins to flow where there was wood gone numb. Life concentrates. Growth returns with purpose. I am not cutting you down. I am cutting you free. When the circle narrows, do not call yourself abandoned. Call yourself prepared. Michael will stand watch as the shears move. He is gentle even when the work is firm. There is a place you stopped visiting in your heart because disappointment lives there. It is the city of almost, the boulevard of not yet, the little house where you keep your maybe someday. We will go there together. We will not burn it down. We will open the windows and let the stale hope leave, and then we will invite new air. You are allowed to dream again without